Welcome to the Ideal Auto Factory. Glad you can make it. Today's video is going to be all about changing the Compcorde just slightly. Keep God first. Let's get into the video. You see that play right there? This up and down motion. Yeah, I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that completely. So I talked to Pascal and we now have a servo horn with a thicker base, but also it's thicker all around, and it also has the base that a screw butts up against, maybe with a washer. And that allows the servo horn to stay in place instead of rock back and forth to the left and to the right. See that? Yeah. So that's the first thing that's going to get changed. So let's change that now. So I'm gonna remove the dampers first. The second one. Now there was a pro tip here to remove the whole bulkhead. Take that one off. One. There goes two. One. There's two. And then the last two right here. 3 and 4. And everything should be out of the way. 3. 4. So with those out of the way, this whole thing should just lift up. Of course, I have a servo in the way, like the wires. Look at that. That was way better than what I was thinking and what I suggested in the previous video. Oh, look at that. My servo horn doesn't even have a screw in it. Look how easy that is to fix now. One of these disconnects, servo's disconnected, great. So now, we can just look at this whole thing here. So my issue was that it would go left to right, side to side, and you can see if I do put this is the same size as a screw, it would fit just like that. And to prove it, let's get a short screw and yeah, see? Just get this. Yeah, it's not reliable there. I mean, sure, you can make it work. You just have a washer on top of it. But now there's a foul with just the horn itself. So I'm gonna take these pieces off. Oh, yeah, that was still in the middle. Okay, it's in the middle. Take these two pieces off. We're gonna swap all of this over to the new servo horn. I got full coverage on those. Let's check the alignment there. Yep, there we go there. Center chassis there. Now look at that. Clearance, it's all there. Perfect. Now there's one more screw to take out. That is on the side. Got one. Yeah. Oh, that is so perfect. So now that that's out the way, Time to take the rear steer out. So I'm gonna take this out and then just, you know, manipulate it from there. Now, fair warning, I am changing more than one thing at a time, really hoping it doesn't drastically change the way it drives, because I like the way it drives. Back and forth, front to back. Yep, there it is, it's out. So now that I did, oh yeah, perfect access. I have access to those. One. There it is. Two. So now I gotta take this bearing and put it in the new one. Little bearing puller there. Haha. We got two of them. No sense in taking them out. Let's just put the two in. If we can. There goes one. Gonna make that flush really quick. It's pretty flush to me. Let's go to the other side. Put the other one in. Oh, too far to the left. Let's try that again. A little flatter. Not so offset to one side. That's a lot better. Yeah. See, look how easy that goes in. And now the rear steer is going back in. Get a nice base going there. Make sure we're all good. Take a trip. Make sure this is good. There we go. That should just plop on right there. Let's put that back together. All right, rear steer is set. Let's go ahead and put that bulkhead back on the front here. The new design gives enough clearance for there to be a screw right there. And it has just enough clearance so that it all works together still. Yeah, there's a new chassis plate as well. I'll be installing those later. I don't know if you noticed or not, but my all black Compcorde is turning white. So last step is to install these very nice adjustable wheelbase pieces here. I have a wheelbase issue, and you can see this rear wheel is getting close to the front wheel. Third hole at the top. Take that one out. I'll remedy that. Okay, so the hole is actually directly in the center of the setting. So if the center setting is stock, we're gonna go back 2. There we go. Yep. All right, that's in. Oh man, look at that. That axle angle is insane. That's not gonna fly. So gotta slide it up one, cause no. Nice. All right, that's better. Let's see what that fitment looks like on the FD body. And all I'm checking is that rear fitment. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. See, that's like right dead in the center. If I went back one more, it'd probably be too much, but yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna do the same for the other side and I'll be back. Now that's pretty cool. This is fully 3D printed. I mean, yes, it's based off an RDX, and I've said this before, but it is 3D printed. The improvements that are now available for you to try out, they went on. And now the chassis itself is more versatile. You have different wheelbases. Yes, the axle angle is different now. Look at what that does. You can get different trailing arm angles, or do you want a wider rear steer bracket, or maybe you want to lock out the rear steering. Either way, the possibilities are pretty much endless. That's the beauty of 3D printing and this platform in general. It is very very pleasing to the eye to look at. This is a well thought out build, and here's the old parts. You know, what I thought was something permanent now is just that easily now a change, and these parts are no longer on this, and now there's new parts, and this is no longer on there, and now there's a new part. And I'm learning more about this chassis, even how I disassembled it. All of these are just great attributes of having something like this. The new files are definitely already on the Discord. If you haven't already, go ahead and join so you can have access to these files. I don't know if they're on Colts. I haven't checked Colts since I started this whole thing. So I managed to get the idler gear printed, and I also printed a threaded standoff to go there because I don't have the screw anymore for the end of the top shaft. It's a makeshift setup, but it's far better than what it used to be, so I got it running for this video instead of having you all wait for another one. So here is the cookies and cream Compcorde, or the triple C. Cookies and cream Compcorde. It has a nice ring to it. Either way, let's give it a drive here. Now at this point, I feel very comfortable with the way this drives, and now I am focused on, okay, maybe my electronics could be dialed in, maybe a damper point setting on the Power HD GT gyro should change. I'm thinking about how to dial this car in a little more, and quite frankly, I am enjoying it. I know what the car can do. It feels a little more robust, but I like how it feels, even though I'm not getting the full angle that I need. Now, I'm still working on the snappiness and also the way it flicks and catches, but here's the thing. I have a 9.5 turn motor, and I just hit a couch, by the way. I have a 9.5 turn motor, and the power from that is just wild. So you're going to hear in a little bit what happens when you really get on the power. Now, before we get there, I do have a confession to make. I'm running a YD2 shaft for the idler, so I don't have the MST idler shaft in there. And you probably know what happens now that I've said that, so here it goes. Unfortunately, I messed up my idler gear again. There's the damage. The left side is completely warped. The bearing is not even in that same spot as the one on the right side. And for whatever reason, my pinion gear flew off. So, more on that in the next video. As well as, in the next video, we're going to be putting cantilever suspension on it. If this video has helped you, then the next video you should watch is on the screen right now. It builds directly on what you just learned. I'm always sharing information on RC drifting, the ins and outs of how chassis work, and electronics, and also just valuable information based on what products are out there. So consider watching, keep God first, and I'll catch you on the next video.